Today we will be looking at the information that the Argus system can display for dryers. So when you load the screen, it'll look just like mine does right now, and on the left side you see that there is a calendar. You can toggle back and forth between the last 90 days. And anywhere under each date that you see a green bar, or sometimes they're yellow bars if there was an issue during the cycle, but anytime you see a bar under the date, that is a cycle, an individual cycle that was ran. So like for example, if I touch in here on the 16th, on the right side of the screen, it loads the 16th data for us, and we can scroll through and see some information here. So on the right side of the screen, under the drying time tab, it tells us what course was selected. It gives us our display time. Display time is what the estimated time is that the machine shows at the beginning of the cycle. Then it shows running time, and running time is the actual amount of time that it ran for the cycle. It may have been extended or it may have finished early. The next column is your extended time, and this is where if it went over a few minutes or under a few minutes, it'll show you plus or minus here for the duration that it went over or under. Then you have your power off information. You have your duct level. So if the unit would have given a D80, D90, D95, any of those codes during the cycle, it would show up in this duct level column. And then at the end is your total cycle count. Under the options tab, again, it gives us our course that was selected. It lets us know if energy saver was turned on or off. Gives us our dry level and temperature that was selected, and then just any other options that the customer may have selected for that cycle. Then under product status, if any error codes would have occurred during the cycle, they would display here. It gives you your start temperature that was detected by the duct sensor, and it gives you the maximum temperature that was achieved during the cycle. And then it gives you humidity sensor information. Whenever you see humidity sensor on the dryers, it's talking about the moisture sensor bars, or the moisture sensors inside that are detecting how wet the clothes are. That's what it means when it says humidity sensor. Then again, it gives you your power off information, duct level, and your total cycle count. So if we go over and we select, which I'll just leave 416 selected, I'm going to scroll down, and you can look under your drying time tab, and here, since it was a time dry, they selected 50 minutes, and I see that it ran for the whole 50 minutes, and error codes, none were displayed during this particular cycle. On our chart at the bottom, the information that we can see here will start with our duct temperature. That is the pink line, and anywhere that you touch, it'll tell you what the temperature was at that time. So here you see it's 138 degrees. Here it's 149 degrees. The next item that we'll look at is the humidity sensor, which is our green line. Here you see that it quickly rose to the top, so that means that it quickly sensed that the clothes were not wet. So that's why it had such a steep incline like that, but as the clothes dry, that line will increase on the graph. Next, you see the heater, which is the yellow line. So if I select here, it tells us that both heating elements were energized, and then other places you may click, like here, for example, only one heating element was energized. So that's what the heater on 1 and the heater on 2 means. The 1 and 2 is how many elements are energized at that time. Or if I click down here, you see it says heater off when the yellow line is down at the bottom of the graph. The purple line would be for a unit that has steam. So if the steam heater was on at that time, you would see that line rise on the graph. And then the black line is your power consumption. So these are the items that are available to you through the Argus system for dryers. And these cycles that you see here that are all green, they all ran normally. And now we'll show you some examples of dryers that actually had issues during the cycle. show you how that displays. This first example that I'll show you is a customer that's complaining of long dry times. So we're going to look at some of their recent cycles. So I can see here that they've ran 2 speed dries and 3 normal cycles recently. Then when we look at our cycle times, on the normal cycles, I can tell from looking at the extended time column that they're running over. So the second cycle there went 42 minutes over. The next one down went 64 minutes over. And so some of the information that we can look at here to help us discern why that's happening, let's look under the options tab and see what options this customer is selecting. So I want you to notice here for the speed dry cycles, the energy saver is turned off, and also the temp levels are high. But for the normal cycles, the energy saver is turned on and the temp level is set to medium high. So just from that information, you can show this to the customer and you can instruct them that when they're running a normal cycle, to make sure that they disable energy saver before starting those cycles, and also set the dry levels and the temperatures as high as possible to decrease the amount of runtime. So that would be to take care of long dry time complaints. In this example, the customer was complaining about not heating, and the not heating started toward the end of March. But I want to show you how you can use this Argus data to look back before the complaint happened to see signs of what might have caused the issue. We're looking at March the 16th and through the 22nd right now, and you can tell that some of the cycles have started running a little long. So one cycle went 12 minutes over, one went 43 minutes over. But we look here at our duct level and the customer's getting D80 codes. So we know that means that it's sensing that it's got duct blockage and that thermostats are cycling more than they should. When we look down at the chart, we look at our duct temperature, it is still increasing, so it is still heating at this point. But I'm going to skip ahead to the 29th of March. Now look at our duct temperature. Pick a few different dates here to show you. So see how our duct temperature now, which is the pink line, it's just a straight line. It's not increasing anymore. So now our heating element, even though the element is on, so both elements are energized there, the temperature is not increasing. So now we have to figure out why it's not heating. This technician did go out later in April. So here's April the 27th. You see your temperature is now increasing again at your pink line on your duct temperature. And then when we look over at our duct level, it now says none. So the D80 codes are gone. This technician did find that the thermostats were bad, and he changed the heating element out and got it working again. But this is how you can go back and look at past data to see maybe if D80 codes and vent blockages led up to your no heating situation. This shows an example of a customer that's having major venting issues, and you can tell that when you scroll through the table at the top and you see that the duct level showing D95, which is almost a full restriction. So something has crushed the duct or severely clogged their ducting. Another thing that you'll notice that's odd is, each cycle, the display time and the run time is way off. So the cycle's ending really fast. That's why all the extended times are in the negatives like that, like negative 36 minutes. So anytime it gives a D95, it's not going to let the cycle continue, and it's going to shut down shortly after running. So again, this is an example of D95. This is an example of how error codes will display for the dryer data. So the green bars and yellow bars that you see, that's each individual cycle. That's on the calendar. The yellow bars indicate that something definitely went wrong during that cycle. So I'm going to select April 13th. And we're going to scroll through our table at the top and see. So we see that a few cycles there ended very, very short. So I'm going to go over and look at my product status, and that brings up my error code list and tells me that there were NP errors that happened. NP means no power. So something happened in the customer's house that day, whether it was power outages, brownouts, something caused electrical issues that the unit picked up on. And I want to scroll down and show you that when an error code occurs, it also displays in the data chart at the bottom of the screen. So you can see the NP in red. That's the point in the cycle when the NP code occurred and the unit shut down, of course, because it had no power at that point. All error codes will display on the chart except for the D80, D90, and D95 codes. But this shows you how error codes will display for dryers in the Argus system. So hopefully this information that I've shown you in this video will help you diagnose dryers more effectively using this Argus data and help you guys be more successful out in the field. Thank you.